The world is dark, ridden with ash. Stretching all around is a vast emptiness, with only a harsh wind blowing. Ash is swept up and obscures the landscape already vague with fog. Some reach as high as the sky, creating the thick layer of rolling clouds in the eternal night. Someplace east, in another time, there once existed a bustling forest of magic. All living creatures went to that forest in their youth. At night, the fields of flowers would open to the touch of the stars and emit a soft blue light, coating the area in comfort. There lived the mushrooms who, with so much joy in their bodies, couldn't help but dance and sing and embrace all weary travelers. There once were butterflies, vibrant and filling fields with wonder and whimsy. The trees lent their great branches as shelter for all. The forest is a carcass now. Most of it is ash. The mushrooms, a long time ago, stopped singing and dancing. They grew more and more stationary until they became statues. They are the last remnants of the magic forest, statues of a time long past. Nobody remembered that the mushrooms once moved with life. What lasted longer than the forest were the monoliths of the creatures. In the foggy horizon there stand still vague forms of crumbling monuments. In another time they were wondrous, a castle for a king, a palace for an empress. They once stood tall, but they are dying, and the ash eats them. These monoliths carry the last memories of the realm, but always they lie on the horizon, and always the fog obscures them. Never shall a living being set eyes on them. Only their shadows exist. Shall the elves be sung of? Indeed, the elves, with their pointed ears and their great stallions, whatever they touched flourished. A soft caress on a flower, and would not only bloom, but grow a small field of them. But they were forgotten too. Their touch no longer graces this realm. The elves left long ago. To where, it's impossible to know. An old obscure tale was sometimes passed, that it had been the humans who drove the elves out. But who knew for certain? Perhaps the elves too are dead now, or they thrive elsewhere. Maybe it was their very presence that gave this land its life. Whatever the case, it doesn't change the fact that they are gone, and this realm is dead. How go the songs of the giants who protected all the tiny critters? Ah, the great giants that stretched to the sun. Whatever could have happened between them for a war to break out among themselves? What could have happened for those giants to forge blazing spears out of the sun? The first of the ash fell when those spears were thrown, but it would be an unimaginable amount of aeons passed before the realm even began to resemble its current form. The giants were felled. Their carcasses became homes for many creatures. The Golden Knights, valiant and honest, protected the lands with the giants. But what can be sung about them? They were forgotten upon first ashfall. Only chips of rust remain of them. And what of the dwarf among giants, he who thought himself greater than destiny, who enslaved a people with invisible chains of vitriol and hidden ropes of ignorance? He gathered all the dwarves, and they climbed on top of one another to form a foe giant. They slaughtered the true giants, they slaughtered the nymphs, they slaughtered all who came their way. What of he, the insidious coward? He too was forgotten, for the dwarf among giants is no special nor unique title. Dozens had it before him, and dozens had it after. All dwarves among giants died, for all it took was a few dwarves to leave the foe giant and turn the mass against the one. All were forgotten by time, and once they were forgotten, it took only one foolish dwarf to repeat the past. Thus they constantly emerged and vanished until the dwarfs went extinct. And what of the dragons, who spoke eloquently and used their breaths to mend gold into fantastical sculptures, sculptures spangled with more unsaid words than seen light? What of them? Well, the humans of the realm saw such sculptures and miraculously saw no value in the gold, for they claimed it to be pigmented stone. The humans made mockeries with mud and said, "This is gold." Thus they proceeded to slaughter the dragons, spangling their mockeries with their organs and painting the divine with their blood. Then, finally, what of the last creatures who roamed? The humans. They outlived the rest by eating the corpses of giants, dwarves, nymphs, dragons, saying, "Thank goodness this is not us." Eventually the corpses ran out. Then they turned to each other. They convinced themselves that blood was the key to preservation. They became obsessed with blood. They crafted crimson elixirs. They seasoned food with it. They replaced wine with it. They bathed in it. Blood they would have, until it was only two left in all the realm. They died not murdering one another, for they merely embraced each other. They shivered in the cold, and their voices died in the howling winds. They stroked each other's faces and said words that time had slaughtered. They looked around and said, "What have we wrought?" And they, too, vanished. And there were only ashes and vague monoliths in the sky.